Hello guys, again, I'm gonna share my screen. I got it. And now we're gonna check what a verb is. And well, according to the definition we have here, it's a verb is a word that shows an action or a state of being. It tells us what the subject is doing. In this case, the subject, you remember it can be a noun, or what is happening in general, because sometimes the subject is not a person. You can say, it is raining, and we're talking about the weather, okay? Here we have many times. First of all, and the most important, the verb to be. You have to understand that the verb to be is the most important verb in English. So verb to be can be in present, is, are, in past, was or were, in present perfect, has been, have been, etc. But if you identify it, it's the most relevant part over here, because what you need to know is where to locate the verb and how to work with it. Then we're going to have some other categories which differ from the verb to be. And we talk about an infinite number of categories. We talk about regular, irregular, transitive, intransitive, action, stative, main, auxiliary, modal, phrasal, gerund, infinitive, very infinitive, etc. The thing that we have to focus on over here, it's on the essence of the verb. And what is the essence of the verb? What it says over here in short, verbs are the heart of a sentence. Without a verb, there's no sentence. Probably for the reading comprehension level that you need, it's just necessary for you to identify, and not precisely to know what the tense is, but to know which of the words that you read is the verb, because it's the heart or it's the core of my sentence. Okay? To make it a little bit more, to make it a little bit clearer, I am going to work on this slide. And as I mentioned to you before, well, we have the verb to be and the rest of verbs. Here we have tenses. In present, for example, we know that if the subject is a third person, the verb, it's going to have an S, no? So you say, she likes running in the morning. So if I am reading and I see a word that finishes with S, it can be either a plural form or a verb conjugated into the third person. So that helps me get the meaning of my reading. Okay. For the other persons, there's no need to add an S. The third person in singular, talking about, well, you already know, this is just a reminder, he, she, and it. Okay. If you have a verb in simple form, play, you say they play, they go, they read, it's conjugated in present already. We have present continuous or progressive too. In this case, we're going to have a combination of the verb to be plus an ing, but this verb to be has to be in present, yes? Because if we have it in past, it becomes past continuous. And you say, she is running in the park. In which moment? Right away. While present simple talks about routines, present progressive talks about actions happening at the moment of speaking. If it is plural, we switch it for are, and you say, they are taking a lesson. If I'm talking about me, you say, I am listening to music. And we got it there. I also have present and present perfect. Present perfect needs to talk about actions that are in the past that recently finished, or actions that started in the past and continue up to the present, or the number of times that I have performed an action. So over here, I am going to have my auxiliary has or have, again, depending on the third person and singular. So it's because I got talk. Has or have, plus the past participle matter. I already attached a list of verbs in the forms, in Google Forms, so that you can download it. And if you need to study some verbs, you can do it, or you can download any list from internet, okay? So you say, she has run in the park for months. No, she started months ago. She continues doing it, and probably she will continue doing it as well, no? Or you say, I've seen that movie several times. In this case, I have action that started in the past, continues into the present, action that has been repeated, or experience. And you say, I have tried tarantula tacos, for example. This is the present perfect. Then I go with past. With the past simple, I am going to have a difference because remember that we have regular and irregular verbs. The regular verbs end in ed, and the irregular ones end irregular and irregular usually are different, and that's why you have a list of verbs that is going to help you. To make the conjugation, you just take the past tense of the verb and you say, my mom visited me. Or you can say, my brother ran a race. Okay? In both cases, my verb, it's conjugated into the second column, ran and visited. And it implies that the action is over. If I use the continuous form, can happen, it becomes a past progressive tense. Again, here I am going to have my be and my ing form, like with the present, como arribita. But the thing here is that I need to use it in past. What is the past of be? Was or where? So we say, she was watching a series. Or another example in plural, you say, they were dancing in a party. Actions that were an ongoing situation in the past, and something probably interrupted them. I have the simple past, I have the past progressive, and obviously I will have the past perfect. And the past perfect, again, we will have our auxiliary verb have plus my past participle. And this is to imply that there was an action before another action in the past. You say, by the time I arrived, my friends have finished their lunch. Implying that my friends first finished the lunch and then I arrived. Both actions are in the past, but one action is over. And then here we will have future. It's not necessary for us to go to future perfect continuous, past perfect continuous, etc., because we already know what a verb is and we want to identify it. But remember that we have future with going to, which is what we call idiomatic future. And we say the form of going to, it's be going to, plus my verb in San Francisco, or simple form. And you say, it's when you have a plan and you say, I am going to pass my test. And we have future with will, in which the probability drops down to the 50%. And well, it's a little bit cloudy today, but I'm not sure if it's going to rain. So you say, in this case, I use will. And you say, it will probably, you use certain adverbs like probably, maybe, perhaps, and say, it will probably rain. It will probably rain later. Don't forget your umbrella. Okay? Apart from the conjugations, it's important for you to remember when to use each one of them. Present, routines. Present progressive, actions happening at the moment of speaking. Present perfect, experience, actions that started in the past and continue up to the present, or a number of times an action is performed. Past, actions that are over. Past progressive, ongoing action in a determined time. Past perfect, an action that happened before another action in the past. Going to, when I have a plan. And will, when there's a probability of something to happen. Essentially, this is the way in which we use the verbs. Now, we will go with adverbs. Adjectives qualify nouns. Adverbs are a little bit different because they qualify verbs, essentially, but they can also give you some other information. Let's check out the definition, and it says, an adverb describes or gives information about a verb, essentially, as I mentioned to you. An adjective or another adverb, it tells, remember this, how, when, or how often something happens. So we have some common questions. How? She runs quickly. How does she run? You say she runs quickly. When? I'll call you tomorrow. When will you call? Tomorrow. Tomorrow is my adverb of time. Where? He looked everywhere. Where did he look? You say everywhere. This is my adverb of place. How often? They always arrive late. All the time. This is my adverb of frequency. So what you need to know in order to remember what an adverb is, it's precisely these questions. The majority of the adverbs are gonna finish in ly, like slowly, happily, carefully, easily. But not all of them follow this pattern. You can use well, which is the adverb of good. Fast, for example, we don't use fastly. In fact, nobody's using fastly anymore. Very, never, often, now, and here. We have a pair of examples. He speaks loudly. Loudly describe how he speaks. Very loud, no? And she is very happy. Very modifies the adjective happy. Okay? Well, so adverbs are one of a kind. They are not exactly difficult to deal with, and you're going to find them just by asking these questions. Okay? And well, I think that this is the most important thing about adverbs. And well, about verbs, it's important for you just to remember like the main characteristics of the conjugations of each one of them. Thank you very much. This is the end of this section.